The Montauk Project, which was an experiment carried on at Montauk Point, New York, on the southeastern tip of Long Island, that's off of metropolitan New York, was essentially two projects. It was a mind control project where they did research on how to influence the mind of man using electromagnetics.
Montauk Monster! Part 2. Another odd-looking creature, cited by the blog montaukmonster.com. You're not familiar? Check it out. Look at this carcass! It washed up on the shore of Long Island, here in New York, last week. A couple apparently spotting it while they were taking a lovely stroll. Then bam! They bump into that thing. The monster first made headlines last summer. Remember this picture? It was seen on the beach, and then, after national news coverage, it mysteriously disappeared. What the heck is this thing?
Now, it is a fact that none of the animals that they use in their experiments is allowed to leave Plum Island alive. Why couldn't the Montauk Monster be some critter that they were tinkering with that somehow went into the water and got swept by that outgoing tide? Montauk is south and east of Plum Island, not that far, maybe 10 miles as the crow flies, maybe less even. Why couldn't it be that?
Well, let's say this. This animal facility, since 1954, when it was actually inaugurated as a biological warfare facility by Nazi Germany's top warfare officer that we secretly imported to the United States, the goal was germ warfare.
Is that true? It really was a Nazi? A Nazi ran the place? An ex-Nazi?
Yeah, his name was Eric Traub. We can find him in the depths of the National Archives and Record Administration, where I found him. And he ran his own bio-warfare island in the Baltic. We brought him here after World War II, and his idea was, let's build a germ warfare island so that we can wage war in against farm animals, essentially, against the emerging Cold War against Soviet China, the Soviet Union and Communist China.
The whole Montauk Project, when we started to go deeper into the mind aspect and the time aspect, there was a lot of implementation of alien technology at Montauk. I personally believe that Montauk was most likely a test bed for some of the technology interchange between the aliens and the U.S. government. That they were trying out a lot of these great ideas they got. They're also trying to replicate systems and technologies they had on the captured, crashed UFOs. Also, I can remember I had an office in the radar tower. It was the first office on the second floor in the back. Next to my office was another office, and I remember, I swear on a stack of Bibles, I remember a lizard man in that office. It was His Highness Draco something, I can't remember the other name. And he was about 6 foot, 7 foot tall, had sort of like scaly skin, humanoid. He walked erect like we do, had 2 arms, 2 legs. He had a tail, but it really didn't show most of the time. He had somewhat of a humanoid face, strange eyes, a big mouth, and, looked like what you would expect if you're going to put together a lizard man. There was a being on Star Trek called the Gorn that Captain Kirk fought on this planet. This man that I worked next to sort of resembled that being.
A single occasion, I was in the main corridor at the base, and coming out of the room, along the main corridor was this very large creature, very tall, well over 6 foot, being accompanied by 2 men in suits, which I took to be NSA operatives. They're the only ones who don't wear badges in the place. I just stopped in my tracks, very, very shaken. I mean, it's a very powerful looking being, very difficult to describe, just very, very tall, very well built, very strong, well over, as I say, well over 6 feet. He must have towered at least a foot over my head. A greeny, browny, mottled type of skin. I tried to take in as many details as possible, but as I say, it literally caught me unawares. I was really put into shock. Didn't know what the hell it was. It was just casually walking along the main corridor with the two operatives. Got a very strong sense of evil and nastiness about the thing. It worried me for quite a while afterwards. I mean, you know, you're never told. The security people are the last to be told what's going on. But it was inferred by others at the time that that was one of the reptile species. Of course, it didn't mean that much to me at the time. But every time you asked questions, no one wanted to answer. It was just strongly inferred that, yeah, that was a reptilian, you don't want to mess with that, and it was just left at that. But over the years, it just seems more and more plausible to me that that also was another creation from the base. It just, you know, there may well be reptilian races, but it's just as easy for the military to have actually made this thing, rather than it being an actual reptilian.
Like the rest of them?
Like the rest of them, yeah.
She didn't tell me that she had a child. What was it I was supposed to do? Kill it. It's not an it, this is a child.
I hate you! I hate your guts! I wish you were dead!
These people, they said they're dangerous. More dangerous than you?
Dad, are you serious? They killed Carl and my mother. Please, Dad. Help me!
She's not my daughter. She means nothing to me. So if you want to kill her, go ahead.
It is admitted that they are creating animal-human cross-species clones, but they claim in the media they're killing them at different embryonic phases, and they are claiming that they can legally do this because they're not completely human. And then going back over 10 years ago, major British papers and others reported that quietly biotech firms, especially in China, Hong Kong, South Korea, where there's really no control, they have been creating animal-human hybrids in the embryonic phase and implanting them in cows. They're part bovine, or they have genetic traits of cows so that they're not rejected, and also they can grow the humanoids up larger in utero in the cow. Now,